Hey, y'all, Elise Smith here, and welcome to the Socially Awesome Podcast, where we empower mompreneurs to implement simple social media strategies into their businesses and elevate their online presence. I'm a mompreneur of three, an affiliate marketer, a network marketer, an influencer, a social media marketing agency owner, and your personal guru. I am here to give you tips, tricks, and tools that you need to build your social media business. Let's dive in. Hello, everyone. I am so excited to be coming to you today to talk to you about humanizing your brand online. So before I dive right in, drop in the comments. Let me know that you're watching. Let me know where you're watching from. I am new to this, not new to this community, but I'm new to training in this community. My name's Elise Smith. I am the CEO of Socially Awesome. I am a certified social media marketing coach. I own a social media marketing agency. I do affiliate marketing. I do all the things. But one of my things that I'm most passionate about is helping brands humanize online. Okay, and today we're going to talk a little bit about humanizing your brand online, why it's important. Before I jump in and just get right into the content, I want to let you know a little bit about me. One, you're going to be seeing me training in this community weekly. So I'm very excited to share what I have learned. I have been a side hustler for quite a long time, but last June, so coming up right on a year, I decided to dive into full-time entrepreneurship. And I have been driving this ship of Socially Awesome for right at a year now. And I can say that by being authentic and humanizing my brand, I believe I have been able to create something pretty massive in such a short amount of time. So hopefully this resonates with you. Hopefully you get some value out of today. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about my experience so you know why this is a passion of mine. So I worked in corporate for a very large franchise of quick service food industry. Okay, so in the pizza industry. And I did their digital marketing and social media marketing for quite a few years. And one thing that we learned, not only is it such a large franchise, because it was a franchise that owned well over 175 locations on average. So we had, you think about, you have one storefront online right now, right? So that's your brand or whatever you're building. You might be a brick and mortar that has, you still have a presence online. That's one. If you think about 175 locations, each one of those locations has a unique personality, a unique community, a unique culture that they need to present and serve, right? So it's very important that you learn how to be authentic with whatever your brand is and whatever your location is so that you can connect with the people that you're trying to attract, okay? So what my job was there was to really bring the human-like features online, because as a franchisee, our jobs weren't to market the pizza. That's corporate's job, right? That's what franchisees pay royalties for. My job was to market jobs, to get people into the store to work for us, to make the pizza. Without having workers, you couldn't make the pizza, right? So I really had to figure out how can we have these human-like qualities in our content and be really authentic. So I'm going to give you 10 actionable tips today that you can start putting into your content. And these are things that you can think outside the box. I'll give you some examples, but I wanted to give you 10 steps, things that I really thrived on in corporate, and I'm doing now with myself and my clients. I'm teaching my coaching clients to do the same, of how they can humanize their brand online. Okay, so let's dive right into the content. If at any point in time you have any questions, drop it in the comments for me. If I don't answer them live, I will definitely come back in and get you a response, okay? Also, you can see my brand name here. Feel free to find me on social, Elise1Smith. You can find me on just about any platform with that handle, and I'd love to connect with you, okay? So number one, and I do have notes, so if you see me clicking, I have ADD really bad, so I have to keep myself on track. I'm sure a lot of entrepreneurs out there can relate. So number one is share your story, okay? Share your journey, your values, your vision. Really connect with people that are behind your brand. Let your audience know who are the people behind your brand. What's the human aspect of your brand? Okay, so I'll give you a personalized example here. You can see how my company name is spelled awesome, AUSOME.
but yet I'm not Australian, right? A lot of people think I'm Australian because I spell it that way. No, I'm actually deep down in Mississippi. But a little bit about me, I have a child on the autism spectrum. And for years working in corporate, I struggled to get him the therapy he needed, along with, being present and being the mom that I wanted to be. And as he transitioned, it was time for him to go into traditional school, okay, kindergarten, this past year in 2022. And I started looking at after school therapy options, and there weren't any. So I found myself really struggling I was turning therapies away, and I was having to turn options away for him because I couldn't get him where he needed to be during the workday. And so that was the driving force for me. I really had a nerve that was struck, and I said, I'm not going to choose between the medical care that my child needs and a job. I absolutely refuse. We needed the money, we needed the income. I have 3 kids. It just so happens that my son Caden, that has autism, it was harder to work with his schedule and his extra needs, right? And so it was the driving force that I needed to make the decision to just go into full-time entrepreneurship. And I did, and I do not regret it. But I put it in my branding because it's conversational. It may be confusing to some people. Sure, people go searching for me and they don't spell it the way I spell it. They might not find me right there. There's some pain points there, but ultimately it's a conversation piece. People ask me, why do you spell it that way? I'm like, let me tell you why. Let me tell you why, right? So are you sharing your story? Are you sharing why your brand is named the way it is or what it is? If it's your name, great. Are you sharing why you started your brand? Not just colors and fonts and logos. And I'm a branding strategist, so I love branding, but you've got to get deeper than that, okay? No one's going to resonate with your color and say, oh, that, and there is a whole color psychology, but that's not going to be the ultimate reason people buy from you, right? That's not going to be the ultimate reason they do business with you. Not usually. People don't usually buy from the place because like, oh, I just like red. That's just not how it works, okay? So make sure that you are sharing your story. Number 2, use conversational language. Okay. Avoid overly formal or corporate language. Communicate in a friendly way or a way that resonates with your audience, whatever your tone is. Okay. Write as if you're having a conversation with friends. So you'll see me write captions occasionally where it's like ... or I will use more conversational language. And those captions resonate with people better than if I spit out a bunch of, jargon or a bunch of acronyms, right? That's not going to reach people. Don't speak so high level. That was one of my biggest pet peeves in corporate was they were like, give me the high level version when they want to give you 2 minutes to, update in a meeting. And they're like, just the high level version. No, this isn't high level. I'm connecting with people deeply. Okay. This is very important. This isn't give me surface level stuff, right? So this is super important. So use conversational language. And a couple ways you'll see that for me, if I comment on your stuff, or my team, I have several VAs that work for me. If they comment on your stuff, they're going to say, that's awesome. And they're going to spell it that way. Right? Or they're going to, I'm very bold in my content. I'm usually the person that says the thing that everyone's thinking and no one's wants to really say. I love that about entrepreneurship. I don't have to worry about filtering myself. I don't have to water myself down anymore. Right? No one wants to water themselves down. But it's so important because I get to do that. That's amazing. That's like my favorite part. I get to do that. And it's very important because I get to connect with people on such a deeper level. So just know that is something for, that you can absolutely do is use your conversational language. Number 3, be authentic. Be genuine, transparent. There is still such a thing as, TMI, but be transparent in your online interactions. Okay. Don't gatekeep, build trust with your audience, being true to your brand values and delivering on your promises. So one of the things that I was very open about in the past 8-9 months, I had neck surgery. You can see it here. I had neck surgery in January. So when I found out that I was going to have discs replaced in my neck, I'm fairly young to have that type of surgery, I thought. I mean, in my 30s, but nobody thinks you're going to have neck surgery in 30s. I shared my journey. about that. I was open. Not just about like, oh, yo, I got this thing and I got to have it replaced. I went really deep with, like the mindset behind it, about pushing through it. Right. I had so many people that had reached out to me and was like, thank you for sharing that. Because I talked about how painful it is to just sit at my desk all day, and how, there was days I was sitting here crying because I was in so much pain, but I had to push through it, because as an entrepreneur, I don't get sick days. Now I do get to create my schedule, which is amazing, but you know what I mean? Like, there's no backup pony over here. Right. So it was very painful for me, and I was very open about it. And then, of course, it was a fun thing when I got to post some selfies in my neck brace, like, hey, what's up? I even made a TikTok, I think, in the recovery room. But I brought my audience on my journey, and they love that because they got to be a part of it. Are you doing that with your audience? Are you too scared to talk about things? Right? I know there was this huge faux pas 10 years ago where we didn't tell anybody anything online, but guess what? That's not how it works anymore. Everyone is very transparent. The more transparent you are, the more authentic you are, the quicker you're going to see the results and the connections that you want to see, because it's not going to take as long to build that know, like, and trust factor. I can tell you that. Okay. Number 4, show your personality. Inject personality in your brand's presence. Don't be so monotone that you're boring. Okay. Do it through humor or distinctive tone or empathy. I told you I'm very bold. So I'm very often going to say those bomb drops, and people are going to be like, did she say that? But a lot of people are going to be like, that's my girl. She said that, because other people are too afraid to say it. Now, I'm not saying you got to get all political. Okay. I don't say much about elections and all the things going on in the world right now. But if that's you, do it. Do it. Stop being scared. Stop worrying about what your mama's going to say or your grandma's going to say, and just do it. Okay. The edgier you are with your content, the more bold you are with your content, the quicker you're going to see the results that you want to see. The quicker you're going to attract those people to you, and the more aligned you're going to feel. Because I can tell you what, if I sat here and crafted some fluffy content that's just not me, and I posted it every day, it gets harder and harder to write, because it's not me. But when you're being authentic, showing your personality, humanizing your brand, you feel so in alignment. I can whip content out like that. It takes me minutes to do content, because I know exactly what I want to say, because it's really me. I'm not crafting this alter ego. Okay. So really think about your personality and what you want to showcase. People know my content's going to be bold. It could apparently sometimes be loud, right? Maybe offensive to some people, because like I said, I'm willing to say the things that other people aren't willing to say. But I get the results, right? So when people are reading your content and they're like, doesn't sound like her, I know her in real life. Or here's what's even worse. When you're not showing your true personality, and you're crafting all this content, and people think you're this type of person, and then they actually get on a connect call with you, and they're like, who is this person? You got to do some deep searching to find out what is your brand personality. Engage with your audience. Guys, okay, the posting and praying ain't working anymore. You have to actively participate in conversations. You have to reply to comments, messages, okay, and inquiries. If people are inquiring about your services on your posts, and you're not responding to them or having a VA respond to them, you're missing business, guys. Show them that you're valuable, how much you value their feedback, how you appreciate their engagement. This is so important. So important, okay? Number 6, using visual content. Okay, incorporate images, videos, infographics, relatable photos. If every single one of your pictures is you at a headshot, no. Okay, you got to have some behind the scenes. You got to have some glimpses of what it's like to work with you. You got to have some user generated content, some testimonials. If you have team members, stories, okay, depending on what your business is. I used to do what's called Team Member Tuesday I still do it with several of my agency clients, and we spotlight their employees. 1, that is like the cheapest version of a recognition you could ever do. 2, it really showcases the people behind your brand. Who is running your brand? The CEO is not the one making the pizza, right? It's going to be the team members. So it's so important for you to showcase all of the people behind your brand. If you're hiding your employees, you're afraid to spotlight them for some reason, maybe you're not in alignment, right? Maybe you need to really reconsider that. Okay. Showcase behind the scenes. This can be B-roll footage of what it's like a day in the life, what it's like to work with you, what it's like to follow you. And I mean, you could see right now what my office looks like. It ain't that fancy, but it's mine. And this is what it's like when I meet with my clients, where I meet with my clients every day, right? Showcase that. I showcase other things. I'm also active in network marketing. I've been in network marketing for 10 years. And I showcase pictures of me, at my team events. I showcase me at the ball field answering questions because I am able to work anywhere that this phone can go. Are you doing that? Or is everything so pretty and polished that people can't relate to you? Are you using so many Canva graphics that people are like, I wonder what she really looks like? All of her quote graphics. Like, what does she really look like? I'm just being honest, okay? So just really think about, are you using authentic photos? Now, don't get me wrong. I might put a preset on them, okay? I might crop the photo some or whatever. You can still make things look aesthetically pleasing and be authentic. But if every one of your photos is a stock image or, like I said, this pretty, perfect, polished photo. Sorry, guys. Computer rings too. You know how it is. All right. Just know you need to have the authentic quality content. Okay. Number 7, share user stories and testimonials. So highlight the experiences of your customers, showcase their stories, their testimonials, their feedback, demonstrate the positive impact that you've made in their life. So this can be in several different ways. Okay. So one, you can always take screenshots of text messages or emails, or if you have a survey form. But one of the best forms of testimonial content is to interview your clients. Go live with them. Interview them on your page. Now, this is harder for a business that has thousands and thousands and thousands of clients, like my pizza biz. That would have been very hard for me to interview every single customer ever, right? Some of these stores are doing crazy volume, and you can't possibly interview hundreds of customers, right? It's just not. But they leave Google reviews, they leave Yelp reviews, they send in messages to the email and to the Facebook pages and say, hey, look, I want to let you know that John was the best delivery driver I've ever had. So we take that, we get a picture of John, right? And we spotlight John. Or we take some of these Google reviews and spotlight that and showcase, maybe we get all of these Google reviews about one certain location. So we take a picture of that team and we turn that into a piece of content, or just share the Google reviews. There's so many different ways that you can do it without making it difficult. But interviewing a client, if you're a coach or you've got a star student in a group coaching program, interviewing them on your page, one is going to make them feel appreciated because they're going to now get exposure to your audience, okay? And be able to share what they offer to people. But two, it's also going to show live video is king. You can't hide much. I can't hide anything right here, right? It's live. Every time I stumble, every time my computer rings, every time somebody goes outside, my alarm's going off, you can hear it. None of this is filtered. So if you can do that with your clients and showcase that online, people are going to believe it, and it's going to build that know, like, and trust factor even faster because you're not hiding anything. You're not gatekeeping anything. Right? So that is super duper important. All right. Number 8, be empathetic. Okay. So show some empathy towards your audience's challenges, their needs, their aspirations. Offer some support to them, guidance, solutions, and address their concerns. Let them know that you understand and that you care. Okay. So I'll give you some examples of this. Now, I'm not the coach that allows my clients to make excuses. Like if they're making excuses, I'm very quickly like, hey, is this you just complaining or do you want my feedback? I'll ask them, okay? Because they may be just venting and that's okay. We have to do that as human beings, right? But if someone who comments on my stuff and they say, I just can't afford the services right now or whatever, I don't come back and just say like, sucks for you. Like you show empathy and empower and encourage. So no matter how bold your branding is, or no matter how, strong or red personality you are, I could be fierce and postured without being rude. And I could still be direct, right? So show some empathy. The same thing in your content. If you're spotlighting your customers, show the empathy in your content. So I had a client recently who has a feedback on their Facebook page that they didn't have a handicap ramp, and someone wanted to be able to visit their location, but they couldn't get in the store. So my client reached out to that person, said, thank you. Thank you for letting me know that I had forgotten that, or I didn't have that option. She built the ramp and then showcased it in her content and showed empathy and included that customer. Now, maybe you won't have anything that drastic, especially if you're an online business or you're like me and you offer services online, but like show empathy. If you mess up, if you screw up, acknowledge it. Hey, look, I screwed up. I made a comment on my last live that maybe offended some people, and I wanted to apologize for that. Or if you don't want to apologize, don't. Like, that's what I love the most about this, is that you create your business. Okay. And the more aligned it is with you, the more humanized it will be. Number 9, support social causes. Okay. So this is something that's really important, like for community involvement, engaging your social responsibility initiatives, support causes aligned with your brand values, share your efforts, and encourage your audience to get involved as well. So obviously, I'm pretty involved with autism awareness, right? That's very important to me. So I support that. You're very often going to see that in my content because that's related to my brand. I'm also very aligned with organizations that help other women start businesses. So I showcase that in my content. I encourage my audience to support that. Use your platform for good as well. Okay. Not everything's about making money. If you're growing a platform, you're growing an audience, showcase that. A lot of my brick and mortar clients have community involved opportunities. They go out in the community and they participate in person, or they might have, opportunities for you to donate online or things like that. They showcase that. Your involvement is so good to attract customers, attract potential team members, whatever your brand is. Don't be afraid to pick an organization or pick a side. You might not attract this half, but this half is really going to connect with you, right? If someone doesn't want to support it, that's okay. It doesn't necessarily deter them from your brand, okay? So don't be afraid of that. Number 10, consistency, okay? So this is the final tip I have for you. Maintain consistency. Ensure consistency in your brand's tone, your messaging, your visual identity across all your platforms. It creates a really cohesive and recognizable brand presence, and it allows your audience to form a strong connection. So this is really important, especially with more and more AI technology coming in, which I just did a training earlier this morning, actually, on ChatGPT and utilizing it in my brand, how it saved me time, it saves me money. But I think it's really important for people to understand that you have got to continue to be consistent in your tone and your brand, because once you've developed that, people will be able to read your content and say, she didn't write that. That's not her. Who wrote that? It really gets to be iffy. Okay. So if we're trying to build a loyal audience here, a loyal following, not necessarily a large following, like, of course, the more the merrier, but you're not focused on building 1 million followers. You would rather have 1,000 engaged followers than 1 million disengaged followers. Okay. So make sure that you maintain that same branding across all your platforms so that when people find you on other platforms, they go, oh, I know her. She's the girl that teaches us about humanizing your brand. She's the one that has a child on the autism spectrum. She's the one that left her corporate job. Like, people know bits and pieces of my story because I've told it everywhere. I maintain the consistency everywhere. Okay, so it's very important that you do the same. Okay, so with that being said, it's time for me to go. I have another training. I'm so excited, but I will be back in this community once a week for a while. You're going to see me training quite a bit. And if you are interested, I do also do specialty trainings. Like I said, I just did the ChatGPT training this morning in my group, Socially Awesome Entrepreneurs. You can visit my Facebook page, and it's in my my cover photo, or it's in my link tree. You can just look up Socially Awesome Entrepreneurs is the name of the community. I would absolutely love to have you in there. And until next time, make it simple, make it social, and make it awesome. Bye, guys.
Hey, thank you so much for listening to today's episode. I'm Elise Smith, your host, and let me tell you how you can get a free social media audit from me. Make sure that your profile is optimized and you're ready to build. Take a screenshot of you listening to this episode, throw it in your stories and tag me. You can find my handle in the show notes. I will share it to my entire audience, and you will be entered to win one of the 5 free audits that I'll be doing every single month. Number 2, if you found any value out of this episode or any of my episodes at all, please feel free to leave a review. It is the best compliment you can give. Lastly, make sure you check out the link to get into my free community, Socially Awesome Entrepreneurs. It's in the show notes. We go live in there weekly with guest trainings and more. Until next time, make it simple, make it social, and make it awesome.